You could be doing everything you're supposed to do. Your day is full, you're handling things, and nothing technically is falling apart, but it still feels like you're not getting anywhere. You're putting in effort and nothing is actually moving forward. And you're still kind of feeling dissatisfied, you're feeling a little unhappy in your life. And the thought that starts to creep in is, why does this feel so hard when I'm trying to do everything right? You're still functioning, you're still showing up, but you're running in place. And most women don't realize there's a reason for that. Because when this keeps going, it doesn't just stay frustrating, it turns into a pattern where you keep putting in effort, but your life doesn't actually move forward. And something is missing. And over time, that gap starts to drain more out of you than you realize. Again, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's because you're stuck in something that most women don't even know how to see. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what that is and why it feels like you're working so hard without getting traction. So what most women don't realize is this feeling isn't random. It usually shows up in one of very few specific ways, like a kind of a quiet drift underneath your life. So there are three patterns. The first one is emotional overload. For some women, this shows up as constant pressure. You're holding everything together, but there's no real space to come back to yourself. Your mind keeps going. You feel tense. And even when things calm down, for even a little bit, you're just not feeling relief. Pattern number two is what I like to call meaning drift. So for some women, it's not pressure, it's flatness in their lives. Your days may be full, but something about that feels empty. You're doing what needs to be done, but there's nothing in your life right now that actually feels, exciting, enjoyable, or, it doesn't even feel like you anymore. The next pattern is what I like to call alignment friction. So for some women in our 50s, it's not about effort, it's structure, your schedule, your responsibilities, the way your days are set up. That may not actually feel like it's supporting you anymore, and everything starts to feel harder than it should. And so most women don't have language for which one they're in. They just know that something feels off track, something feels heavier in their lives than it should. And that's exactly why I created the Spark Gap check-in. It doesn't fix everything, but it does help you to see clearly what's actually going on underneath your life right now. And, being a woman in my 50s, I felt very similarly. I remember sitting down one night going through my finances, paying bills, looking at the numbers, and realizing that while it looked like I was doing everything I was supposed to do, I was working hard, I was being responsible, but I was still barely just getting by. And then I had this moment where it hit me, you know, this still isn't working. And at the same time, I didn't fully trust myself to do anything differently. So if you're seeing yourself in any of this, again, it's not lack of discipline. It's not that you're doing something wrong. And it's not that you've lost your ability to move forward in your life. What's actually happening is part of you, part of your life is carrying more than it was designed to handle. And you've been doing it for too long. And when that happens, even capable women start to feel like they're spinning their wheels. And it's mostly because something underneath the surface hasn't been seen yet. And once you can see it, things start to shift. So instead of asking yourself, why is this working? It can help to pause and ask a different question. To ask simply, where is my energy actually going right now? Because for a lot of us, that answer alone starts to explain why it feels like nothing is moving forward, even before anything changes. So again, that's exactly what the Spark Gap check-in was designed to help you do. It's not a long process. It takes about 5 minutes, and it helps you see where your life is actually pulling you off center, and which of these patterns you're really in right now. Because once these things feel slightly clearer, you're no longer just pushing through your days. You're able to see where to focus and what actually needs your attention. Because staying in that pattern without seeing it is what keeps everything feeling harder than it should. So if that feels familiar, you can definitely start there. So again, this isn't something that we fix all at once. It is something that you can start to see clearly. And once you can see where things feel heavy, where they feel scattered, or where they're no longer lining up, it becomes a lot easier to understand what your life is actually asking for next. And in a way that starts to feel more steady. So again, if it feels familiar, the next piece is to understand why your mind keeps trying to solve this, even when it's actually not helping. Because again, once you see that part, it becomes a lot easier to stop getting pulled back into the same cycle. And that's what we're going to look at next in the next video. So join me in the next one, and I will see you there.